The last bit of this book went absolutely crazy. Hi everyone, my name is Brittany from Brittany Loves Reading, and today I'm starting a new themed reading vlog. But today I am doing a reading challenge. We all have big Libby hold lists. I put books on hold and then I wait for them forever, and then they come in. And they come in at a time where I don't actually have time to read that book, or I have too many holds out or whatever. So I hit deliver later. I know you can relate. We all just keep delivering the books later. Well, for this week, I'm not going to be allowed to do that. I am going to have to accept every Libby hold that comes in, and I will read as many of those as I can for the entire week. I'm a bit scared because I have no idea what's going to come in. Now, a couple of days ago, I did get a Libby hold come in, and since I didn't know when the next one would arrive, I started accepting them then. And I've only had one come in so far, so, so far so good. And that was Fractal Noise by Christopher Paolini. I'll put it somewhere up here. I pre-ordered this book, and I'm pretty sure I've been delivering it later for months and months and months. So it is finally time to read this book. I have it right here. I'm ready to read it. I'm excited to read this book. This book is the prequel to Sleep in a Sea of Stars, and I adored that book. I gave that book 5 stars. It is a very chunky sci-fi book. It is over 600 pages, and I loved every moment of my time with it. And I have no idea what this book follows since it's a prequel, but I'm excited to see what we're going to learn and what we're going to learn more in depthly about the world that we met in the first book. In the first book, we follow a group of scientists who are on a mission to discover another planet. They get to the planet, they're doing some archaeology on the planet, looking for life on this planet. One of them finds a cave, kind of falls into this hole in the ground, finds this cave, finds this organism, ends up touching it, and the organism actually kind of takes over her body, and things happen. Lots and lots of things happen. Since this is a prequel, I don't know what we're following. Are we following some of our characters before they became scientists? Are we following this organism, how it got on this planet to begin with? I don't know. Are we going to follow some of the alien races that we met in the first book? I don't know, but I'm here for it. This book is a lot smaller than To Sleep in a Sea of Stars. Thankfully, it is much, much smaller. So this shouldn't take me too long to read. Couple of days probably, but I'm going to get started on it now and we'll see how we get on. Hi friends. So I ended up making it to page 129 yesterday when I was reading Fractal Noise. That works out to be about 48% according to the audiobook, and I'm having a great time. This really has the same feel and the same vibes of To Sleep. Obviously, that makes sense. It's written by the same author, so it has the same writing style as that book. But this one is definitely more character focused than the first one. The first one also has a lot of downtime between plot points, but there is still a significant plot in that book. This book is less plot focused. So if you are not a character focused reader, I don't know how much you would love this one, but I am, and it's working for me. In this book, we follow Alex. Alex is a xenobiologist, which is also the same career as our main character in To Sleep in a Sea of Stars, Kira. They are basically in charge of making sure that we don't leave anything on this new planet that we're checking out. We're making sure there's no contamination. We're checking into the biology of different minerals and organisms that they find. And that's kind of Alex's job. Alex went on this deployment, is now at this planet. They are circling this whole kind of series of planets to see if there's anything there. They're in their spaceship. They're doing checks from the spaceship. So surveys from afar. When one of the people in the survey, I believe it was Jacob, finds a huge hole. The hole in this planet is perfectly symmetrical. There is no way it happened by accident. It is too perfect. They know someone made this hole. They, again, start looking into it further. There's noises coming from the hole. They believe that there's some sort of transmission, which means it's basically like a big giant speaker. Why is it here? Who put it here? Is it a sign that there is alien life? They decide to send an expedition onto the planet, but they can only get so close because the closer they are to the hole, the more the interference of this hole causes things not to work on their spaceship. So they have to drop the exhibition pretty far away from the hole. So they drop 4 of them, Alex being one of them, onto the planet. And basically, they now have to get to the hole and do the studies and things that they're hoping to find. So they are currently walking to the hole. They are taking all their equipment, everything with them. It's rather dangerous. They have seen a couple of creatures that live on this planet. So right now, it's a lot of walking. This book is a lot of walking, which is why I'm saying it's more character focused than plot focused. I'm sure we will get to more deep into the plot as we go. And I believe, I know a lot of what's going on because this is a prequel to Sleep in a Sea of Stars. We know Kara falls in a hole and finds an organism in the first book. Is it the same hole? I'm assuming it's the same hole. Do I know that right now? No, I do not. I have no proof that that is the case, but I'm making an educated guess that it's the same hole. So I'm very invested in what happens when they get there. But right now, we're just walking. Even before we were walking, when we were still in the spaceship, there was a lot of downtime while they were trying to decide what to do about this hole they have found. Are they going to go? And a lot of time we are in Alex's head, in his internal monologue. So since we spend most of this book in Alex's head, we are really learning why Alex is here. Things about Alex's life that led him to this moment. And that's mostly what this book is at this point in time, is learning about Alex, learning about this world through Alex and what he has gone through, the different life experiences Alex has had that brought him to right now trudging through this unknown planet towards this hole that keeps making a noise. Now, I will say the audiobook for this is very good. The production value of the audiobook is really great because a lot of times they are talking through maybe some sort of walkie-talkie, some sort of communication situation back to their ship. So you have it in that kind of crackly, sounds like it's coming from sort of mechanical place. We also have the noise from the hole, and every once in a while you will get that happening in the audiobook. There's various noises going on in the background. So I do really feel like if you're going to pick this up, the audio is the way to go. I did not read To Sleep with the audio. To Sleep was before my audio existence, before I really read audiobooks on the regular. So I'm assuming that To Sleep also has a great audio. I just didn't listen to it, but I would assume that it does. So I would say that if you're going to pick up this series, I would recommend the audiobooks. I would also start with To Sleep in a Sea of Stars. Don't start here. I know this is a prequel, but you are not going to care about what is going on if you have not read the first book. You need to know everything that happens in the future to care about this little snippet of the past. So I'm going to continue this today, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to finish it today. That is my goal. And if you saw the B-roll that preceded this, you will know that I ended up getting 2 Libby loans yesterday pop in. I accepted them both because I'm not allowed to deliver later. So I now have 2 more books that will be in the lineup after this. I have Iron Widow, and I also have Emily Eternal, which is funny because these are all sci-fi books, all 3 of them. You can tell that I really have been putting on hold a lot of sci-fi because I want to read a lot of sci-fi this year. Libby has heard me. Libby has decided we will give her all the sci-fi this week, and that's what we're going to be doing. So I'm going to go finish this, and then I'm going to decide which of those 2 I'm going to read next. So last night I did end up finishing Fractal Noise, and I gave this 4 stars. I really did enjoy this. I feel like the audiobook was absolutely excellent in how it was done. The production of this audiobook was just top tier, so I would highly recommend the audiobook. However, I still stand with the fact that if you did not pick up To Sleep in a Sea of Stars, you don't care about this book. There is really no plotting in this book. This is just a little story of someone and their experience in the Fractalverse. This is just someone, we're in their head, we're doing a deep character study almost on why they've chosen to be here and their motivations for what they do during this expedition. That's all it is. There is basically 0.2% of plot in this book. The rest of it is a character study of Alex and his intentions and why he is here, what has brought Alex here, and those things, which I'm pretty sure is what I said in the first update. So I'm not going to go too deep into this because I don't think I'm saying anything new, because there's nothing to tell you. There's very little plot. Even in the end, a little bit does happen, but not a ton. These people are on an expedition. They are running out of food. They're running out of medicines. They're running out of things. And it really starts making them go inside their head. We're in Alex's head, but we get glimpses of other people's mental state as well. And we kind of watch that happen and the consequences of that happen. And that's all that happens in here. If you are a super plot-focused reader, I don't think you'd love this. It is mostly a walking book in the characters' heads. That's what this book is. However, I'm a character-focused reader and I do love the Fractalverse, so this worked for me. That being said, it is time to move on to our next read. And since I had 2 books come in at about the same time, I got to choose. But when I was chatting with people about these 2 books, Iron Widow was a clear favorite. People were very excited for me to read Iron Widow, and I am also very excited to read Iron Widow, so I am going to read Iron Widow. This is another one that I didn't know a ton about, because even when I put this on my 24 and 24, I thought this was fantasy. And then I read that there were aliens. So then I went, is it sci-fi? And I think it might be a mix of both. I think it might be like a fantasy sci-fi or a sci-fi fantasy. Don't know which one's kind of the leading genre. We will find out as we read this. But I think it's a genre blend. I think. But I'm talking as someone who doesn't know, so take that with a grain of salt. I'm gonna go start this today. How far I'll get through it, I think I'll actually get a lot done. Today is Tuesday, and today is Meet the Booktuber sprints on Leandra's channel, and then Tuesday night sprints on my channel. So I have 12 hours of sprints today. So in 12 hours of sprints, I should be able to knock out a good amount of Iron Widow. That is what the math suggests. But let's go get settled. Let's start reading. Let's get on the sprints. Let's have a day together in the past that you are now seeing in the future. I'm gonna go read with you all and then see how far I get. So yesterday I ended up getting to page 143 of Iron Widow, and most of this book I am loving. I'm here for it. I'm enjoying my time with it so much. There's a couple of things that kind of take me out of the story every once in a while, but 99% of this book, I'm having a fabulous time. Let's dive into exactly what I mean by that. So in this book, we follow Ze Chen. She is a Chinese girl, and she is under a lot of expectations in this Chinese society. So in this society, girls are taken and their power is used up by the men in this society to run their basically flying ships that fight these aliens called Hunduns. And the men can pilot these ships, and each pilot has a concubine, and they take one of the girls from their concubine into the ship when they're fighting these aliens and basically use up her chi to fight the aliens and use up her life form in that way. The girls don't always die immediately, but after a while, and depending on the size of the battle, they do. Ze Chen's sister actually was one of these girls. She died, but not necessarily in the way that you would expect. There seems to be some mystery around her death, and that maybe her captain killed her on purpose. Ze Chen is here for revenge. She is here to get revenge for her sister. And I am loving that part of this book. She is here. She is taking no prisoners, taking no names, doesn't care what she's been told by society that she needs to be this way, this way, this way, this way. She doesn't care. She's going to be powerful. She's going to be strong. She's going to get what she thinks she deserves and what she needs. And we love this main character. She is so strong. She is using all that built up anger, and every time someone has slighted her, and she is taking it and she is taking back her power. any way she can, even in a society that doesn't give her a lot of room to do that. Wherever she can get in, she's getting in. She gets in, she ends up getting her revenge on this captain very, very quickly and somehow survives that experience. And it makes everyone in power start looking at her and being like, how did you survive this? And realizing that she's an Iron Widow, which means she is got so much of this chi power and her numbers are just off the scales. And she is so powerful that they end up pairing her with another captain who is also like the most powerful that they've ever seen. I haven't really seen much of them together at this point. I'm just starting to see that, starting to see kind of what he thinks and where we're going to go from here. Obviously, you can tell I love this main character. I love what this book is trying to say about society and how society looks at women. The commentary in this book of feminine anger is just fantastic. I am here for it. I'm living for it. There are so many quotes in this book that I'm enjoying that every once in a while there's just this tidbit of information and this little quote that I just stop and I'm like, oh, yes, love that. Love what you're trying to say here. So all of these things are great. The only thing that keeps taking me out of the story is when they are in battles in these ship things. They go into something called these dream realms. And I would rather see the battle than be in this dream realm. Now, maybe as I go through the book, I'll see that it was necessary to be in the dream realm and I will come back and be like, you know what? I didn't see where we were going, but now I do. But right now, when we go into these dream realms, I just want to see the battles with the aliens. I don't want to be in the dream realms. That's my only small little thing. Every time we go into a dream realm, I'm like, oh, we're in a dream realm. I will also say that this is technically sci-fi because of the ships and also the aliens, but the aliens are not really described in this book as aliens. Now, again, I may hit it, but right now they just refer to them as Hunduns. And I looked that up online and that was just like a mythical Chinese creature. So I don't necessarily know, had it not called them aliens in the synopsis of this book, would I know they were aliens? No, I wouldn't. Now, as I go through the book, that may change. It may explain it more and be like, those are aliens. And I'll be like, oh, I just hadn't gotten there yet. But it is in the synopsis that they're aliens. So I know they're aliens. But I don't think I would know that had I not read the synopsis. And I know technically the ships would be considered sci-fi, but I think they could also be considered fantasy because of how they use this chi and things like that. So it's a little bit of Chinese mythological fantasy more than it is sci-fi. But I mean, I love fantasy. I just wanted to mention that like if you're coming into this for sci-fi, I don't think it necessarily has a big sci-fi bit, which is fine. I love fantasy. I'm here for it. Just wanted to mention that because I had mentioned that it was sci-fi in the last clip. And now as I'm reading it, I'm realizing it's barely sci-fi. It's only just like a teeny tiny bit. Mostly fantasy. Before I go continue, I want to applaud the author on putting a trigger warning page at the beginning of this book and also just some context for what is historically accurate and what was changed for the story to make sense and to work within this nonfiction story. I love when authors do that, so I want to applaud when I see it. And I did see it at the beginning of Iron Widow. So thank you so much to the author for adding that context. I really wish more books did that. So applaud. Thank you very much. I'm excited to continue reading this today though and see where we're going because honestly, this book is not one where I'm like, this is where we're going. I know what's happening. Things keep happening and I'm like, oh, I didn't know we were going to go there. Or, oh, that wrapped up really quickly and there's more to the story. So I don't know where we're going to go. I don't know where we're going to end up in this story, but I'm here for the ride and I'm here for where it wants to take me. Hi friends, it's Friday and I am currently on sprints for weekend word nerdathon. And luckily All the books Libby has given me so far really, really work for this readathon. This readathon is all about keeping up with your reading goals. And both of the books that I got first from Libby are on my 24 in 24. So that is kind of the goal that I've decided to work on for Word Nerdathon this weekend. So I am still working my way through Iron Widow, and I am on page 251. 251 was where I put this down last night on Thursday night sprints. And then we had a watch along last night, so I didn't get any reading done after sprints was over. So I'm definitely going to be finishing this first today. I did not read at all on Wednesday, and I need to remember that Wednesday is a super busy day for me with life and family things. And I keep thinking that I'm going to read and finish whole books on a Wednesday when that's just never going to happen because I'm so busy on Wednesday with other things and having fun with my family. I need to remember that Wednesday is just never going to be a big reading day. But yesterday I did get a lot done. Like I said, I ended up reading about 130 pages of this yesterday, and I am really enjoying this book. There are moments in this book where we are having discussions with people around our main character and fighting against the place of women in society and really just saying such insightful statements and quotes. And I just love the writing style and the way there's such quotable things and such insightful looks. I love seeing our main character really stand up for herself in a society that does not make that easy, does not make it simple to do so. And she is just here and she's like, this is not okay. But not just the place of women in this society, but there's also a great commentary around different types of men in society and how you have to be what society considers the right kind of man or the right kind of boy, and how there's categories of what is right and wrong for boys to be and how they should be, because her pilot that she's now paired with is kind of considered less than. And there's a really great commentary of that as well in this book. And I really appreciate that because I feel like that really kind of goes hand in hand. There is also a romance percolating in this book. I don't even know where we're going to go with it. I don't know who is going to pair up, if it's going to be a polyamorous relationship. I don't know where we're going here, but I'm here for it. The only part of this book, and I said it last time I talked to you, is the fighting scenes, which there have not been that many, thankfully, but every time we get into a fighting scene, I just kind of start to drift off. I start to drift away. My brain is like, I don't care. Can we just stop and go back to what we were doing before? And I think a lot of it is that this magic system and this, sci-fi system is so intricate and it is all here, but do I fully understand exactly what's going on enough that I can picture it in my head? No. And I think that's where the issue lies, is that I'm just not able to follow that as well as I wish I could. Now, this is the start of a series. Book 2 is coming out hopefully at the end of the year. We might dive more into that in other books, and then I'll be able to get kind of the understanding that I need to be able to picture it. But right now, I just don't have it. So there are times in this book where I'm like, this is 5 stars. This is fabulous. And I'm here for the writing and the commentary and everything that's going on. And then we go into a fighting scene and it loses me a little bit. So this could be a 5-star. It could be a 4-star. It could be somewhere in between. I don't know yet, but I will know next time I talk to you because I will be finishing this book today. That being said, I did get 2 more Libby loans come in. You would have seen that during the B-roll. The Blighted Stars and Good Materials. I am not going to have time to get those in during this vlog because I only am vlogging for 2 more days. I'm going to get Emily Eternal in, but that's probably it. Good Materials I will be reading next week for the B&K Book Club, so I was happy to accept that. And the Blighted Stars I was also really happy to get because I am doing a buddy read of this with the book hermit, which is Laura. And Laura is doing a read along of this series over on Storygraph. And I really did want to get to this too. So I'm going to push those into next week. So they will not be part of this vlog, but they were not delivered later. We did keep them and I will be reading them just next week and not in this vlog. But you will still see me finish The Iron Widow and you will still see me read the entirety of Emily Eternal because that is, again, on my 24 and 24, so it's perfect for Word Nerdathon this weekend as well. So let's get going. Let's finish Iron Widow, and then I might even get to start Emily Eternal today. It depends on how long this takes, and I will check in with you tomorrow with my final thoughts on Iron Widow and if I've started Emily Eternal or will start it tomorrow. So last night I did end up finishing Iron Widow and I gave this 4 stars. And I think you kind of see why. There were definitely parts of this that were 5 stars for me. I absolutely love the commentary, the characters, the look on love in this book. There is a polyamorous relationship in this book. So yes, we love to see it. So those things were all 5-star things for me. And this book could have gone a 5-star if it wasn't for the moments where I was taken out of this book. And for the last bit of this book, we were in a battle scene, so that didn't help my enjoyment level of this book because I just found that I checked out during those, and I explained to this. I couldn't visualize it as well as I wanted to, being in these dream realms, and I just didn't connect with that part of the book as much as I connected with the rest. On sprints, though, I was told, wait till you get to the epilogue, wait till you get to the epilogue, wait till you get to the epilogue. And yes, something happens in the epilogue that is big. It's a big thing that happens. I obviously can't talk about what that is. And I'm excited to see what that plays out with in the next book. However, I do kind of wish the reveal of that had been a bit earlier, or at least part of that reveal. And I really can't go into why I would have liked to seen that, but I think it would have explained this world a bit better for us to know a bit more about what was going on. And I'm talking really like coded because obviously I don't want to spoil the epilogue for anybody who wants to read this book, but I kind of wish that would have been earlier. I know that we're going to explore it more in book 2, and I am here for that. But I still do kind of wish that reveal would have been a little bit earlier in this book and not in the epilogue. So for all those reasons, we came out to a 4-star, and I will patiently, but yet like not patiently wait for the sequel, because if you know what's going on, this sequel keeps being pushed back and not for very great reasons. So please check out the author. The author has spoken about why this book keeps being pushed back. We all need to be aware of what's going on with that and support this author to get this second book out. Then I started Emily Eternal last night. This is by M.G. Whedon, and this is a sci-fi book. Again, Libby really wants me to read sci-fi. This is a book I ended up getting in a little free library, so I actually knew very little about it when I picked it up, other than that the cover was gorgeous. And when I had read the synopsis, I realized it was about AI. And in the world that we currently live in, I feel like that's such an applicable topic to be reading about, even in a fictional context and in a sci-fi context. Emily seems like a normal grad student at MIT. She seems like a perfectly normal grad student until you find out that she is actually an artificial consciousness. She lives in an apartment that is made in her mind. She is able to actually see the entire campus and walk through campus artificially and see what is happening on campus in a 15-second delay, because campus has actually set up microphones and cameras all over campus, and it filters it back to Emily's like servers, and she can build her world and function within it. That is scary in and of itself, that there's like cameras and microphones, and I don't think everybody on campus knows about this. They know about Emily, but they don't know that there's cameras and microphones recording everything around them. Emily's maker is wanting Emily to be so human and wanting Emily to really experience human life. So even though Emily doesn't sleep, she still sleeps. Even though she doesn't need an apartment, she has an apartment. And her apartment is actually just like a scan of someone else's apartment living on campus named Bridget. So she has all the thing Bridget has in her apartment. It's very creepy, but also very interesting. And we are inside Emily's head. So we see Emily as she is living her artificial life. Emily has also been made to be a therapist. That is what her entire job is, to meet with students and basically be a therapist for them. And right now she is in high demand because the world is ending. The sun has started to break down. It's turned into this red sun, and we know the end of the world is coming, and everyone is obviously very stressed about that, and it's causing a breakdown in the world. They are trying to get Emily to do something that she's not really sure if she wants to do and if it's ethical to do, which is really interesting that she has the brain capacity to kind of go through ethics and emotions. She even has a crush on one of the boys at the university because she's seen him and heard of him through this like camera delay situation. And we are just at the point where this boy, I think it's Jason and Emily are actually going to meet for the first time, because he is going to get, basically you get like this interface that like clips to your ear or behind your ear. And that makes you be able to see Emily in her human form. And he has signed up to do this pilot research that Emily, again, is not sure if she wants to be a part of. And basically, she's going to take everything that is in the consciousness of a person and download it onto her servers. And they're going to send it out into space when Earth basically is of no more. So that maybe someday in the future, people can learn from what Earth currently knows. Kind of like a time capsule, but like of humans. It's strange. And Emily's not really sure if it's ethical. But Jason has signed up to do this. And Emily is like, I'll do it as long as people agree to it. That's kind of where she's at right now. The government kind of wants her to do it secretively. Like getting information through like Wi-Fi and getting near people enough to scan them without their knowledge. Emily's not going to do that. She's like, I don't want to do that. But I will do it with people who say like, yes, that's fine. Jason has come to that. So Emily is about to meet Jason. And I don't know how much of this is relational with Jason and Emily, but like it's really interesting to also see Emily have those feelings. I am currently, I think, about 25% of the way through this book. I'm on page 75. So I'm about 25% through on page 75. I'm hoping to finish this today. Honestly, it's reading so quickly because I'm so interested in this AI story, which I'm not surprised. I read In These Hallowed Halls last year, and that was a dark academia short story collection. And one of them was about an AI on a college. And I loved that story. It was so interesting. So this is kind of similar to that. So I'm not surprised I'm loving it. But I'm really interested to see how this shakes out, where the story is going to go, and be more in Emily's head. I find it so interesting to be in this like fake person's head, but she seems so human, which is also very concerning. I really find this really interesting, especially in the world of us talking about AI. This, I feel like, is really applicable to a current thing that is going on right now. So I'm going to go read this, and I will check back with you tomorrow, and hopefully I will have finished this. That is the plan. But I'll let you know. So last night I did finish Emily Eternal, and I ended up giving this 3.5 stars. Right after I chatted with you, this book started to change. It started to kind of move away from this college life, this IA college life that I was really enjoying, into something very different. So the government is trying to do this thing with Emily. I did mention that, and this is all in the synopsis, so that's why I feel comfortable talking about it. But another secret group, either a government group or an anti-government group, and to be honest, even to this day, I'm not really sure where they fall. But anyway, they come with guns and things. They kill all of Emily's creators. They capture Emily's servers, and Emily goes offline. The next time Emily wakes up, she is with Jason, the boy that I told you about that she has a crush on. Jason still had his thing that connected to his neck that made him be able to see Emily. When he knows something happened at the university, he puts it on and wakes Emily back up. How this works with her servers being down, I cannot explain that to you, to be honest, cannot. But this sets them on a journey because there is some tracking in this chip he wears. These people come to get the chip, and Emily and Jason basically go on the lam. Like, they are running from this organization, trying to figure out what this organization even wants, why they want Emily, what is going on, what do they need. Emily's not sure. He's not sure. She turns off the tracking in the chip so that they can't like find them. They bring in a sheriff that Jason knows, and the three of them go on the run. And even then, I was still enjoying that, because I was like, okay, it's a part of this system a little bit. Someone doesn't want Emily to do what she's doing. Like, I was following that. Then it went off the rails in the last bit of this book. And I could not even tell you that I was expecting any of that to happen, because I wasn't, because it was just all over the place. And it was so many ideas in such a short space of time that I just felt overwhelmed, and I felt like we weren't really sure what we were trying to do with this book, and we tried to put everything in at the end, and it was a lot. And I feel like we really changed what we were focusing on, because we were focusing on this AI and the problems with AI, and I was enjoying that. And that does continue through the book because we are obviously always following Emily. But then we start focusing on the sun dying and climate fiction and how to save the humans from this ending sun and evolution and all sorts of things that I was not anticipating us to follow. And I'm not really sure I liked how it was done. It was just so much. This book is under 300 pages. It was just too much in such a short period of time that it felt really disjointed and disconnected. But because I enjoyed the AI part of this so much and the beginning in the school setting of this book, I did really enjoy that part. So I gave it a 3.5 star, but the ending was a bit crazy. That being said, we are done reading this week. I think Libby did pretty good picking my books. 3 books. The lowest one was a 3.5 star. So I feel like Libby did a pretty good job picking my books. I definitely would be interested in doing this again because a lot of these books I really do want to read. I have them on hold for a reason. And they have long wait lists for a reason. They're popular books. But I always never have time to read them when Libby finally gives them to me, so I just deliver later. So I would definitely be willing to do this challenge again because it got me reading some books that I was really excited to read and really wanted to read and were on my list for a fairly long time. Let me know if you have this problem with Libby. Are you a deliver laterer? Let me know. I cannot be the only one that constantly does this. I feel like we all do. We kind of chat about it in sprints and stuff, but chat to me down in the comments. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.